Hey, you know what it is. Welcome back to After the Break with myself, J. Paul, from the window to the wall. And you know what it is right now? It's a new year, baby. It's a new year. You heard me? 2024. That's right. Thank the Most High God for another one, even though you didn't deserve it. Just like the gifts that was on your list, but you got them anyway. But you didn't deserve it. But you got them though, man. Hey, man, that's the goodness of the Most High's grace. Yes, indeed. And if you also didn't know, Santa didn't bring you a damn thing. Okay, it was your loved ones. So thank your loved ones this year. I really, really, truly hope that families just spread a little love, not only on the holidays, because one thing I saw for certain, I saw a lot of love in the air this season. I did. I saw a lot of love. Not only did I see a lot of, I'm going to tell you to the degree that I saw love. My neighbor came over here and chilled with me for a hot second. He even took 2 shots of Crown Royal with me. Can you believe it? Well, that's a question for somebody that know what I know. Okay. So let's keep it pushing. Back to the topic at hand, which is protecting your zip codes. This is part 2 of this thing. And we want to speak on equity. I'm sure you all have heard the saying, the first step to financial freedom is home ownership. Well, let's break that down just a tad bit. One of the factors that make that statement valid is the term equity. And for those who may not know what equity is simply the amount you owe on your home, the amount of money you owe on your home. Equity is the value, the remaining value. So let's say your house is worth $400,000. Let's say you owe $400,000 on your home, but your house is worth $500,000. So $100,000 is the amount of equity you have. Let's say, for example, your home is worth $100,000. Let's say you owe $100,000 on your home, but your home is worth $150,000. $50,000 the amount of equity you have in your home. One of the things that make equity that makes it valuable and gives you that financial freedom is the ability to pull from your equity. Pulling from your equity would allow you to take some of that capital and invest in other things to potentially earn more capital. So let's say you do have the $50,000 worth of equity on your property. Let's just say hypothetically you take $2,000, and you invest that $2,000 in stocks or crypto, or you invest in other business ventures. No matter what the business venture may be, you invest in that. Out of the $2,000 you invested, you allow yourself to be in position to potentially gain on the money you invested. So you will earn more off the money that you invested, as opposed to having to go out of pocket, cash money, or out of your savings, or, other retirement or whatever, your vacation fund, your Christmas fund, your Santa fund. Yeah. Santa full of shit. Yeah. And you can use that money in your equity to potentially buy another property. Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of people do. Buy another property, an investment property of some sort. So the equity in your home is a game changer. It can be a major game changer if you manage it right. But you also have to understand that it is so important to protect your zip codes. Because I'm sure you all know that the value of a community is based on the contributions of the people in their community. That's right. So that's why it's important for us to understand the value within our community. That's why we have to protect our zip codes. Now, there are some things that we must do in order to protect those zip codes. And there are also some things we got to keep out. That's the reason why some communities don't allow certain things within their communities, like certain types of businesses. As crazy as this may sound, But like, there are some things, and you can look this up for yourself. I encourage everybody to not just take my word for it, because I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody living it. Okay. And, so, but do your own research. If you don't believe, because I'm pretty sure by now, everybody believe Google over everybody. Okay. So go and Google it for yourself. But certain types of businesses can potentially affect the equity growth in your community, if you didn't know. That's why certain communities don't want certain businesses in their communities, because certain types of businesses attract certain things, like strip clubs. They don't want strip clubs in a thing. Like, as crazy as it sounds, it's just one of them things. Homeless shelters is another. Hospitals, and I've seen very prosperous communities have hospitals. Who doesn't need a hospital in their community? Hey, I didn't make these rules. I didn't make it. It's just one of them things, man. I mean, I'm not the one making these rules. I didn't set it. Even like cemeteries, they say cemeteries. And not only, matter of fact, speaking of cemeteries, depending on the type of property you have, where it is, a cemetery can actually be an asset to you as a property owner, depending on how much property you got and all that stuff. But, but those are some of the things. But let's focus on the key components that add value and equity to your property. Like maintaining your property. That's right. Upgrades to the interior and exterior of your property. When I was growing up, right, my homeboys used to clown me all the time because I used to be out there cutting the yard. My grandfather used to have me cutting grass, grooming the property all the time, to the point I had a landscaping business at a young age, all the way up to my adulthood. And when I used to walk home from shooting basketball or doing what I was doing on the block or whatever, as I would approach the house, I would see the house and the yard. And I was like, man, I did that. It looked so beautiful. I would paint the house like every other year. My grandfather kept the roofing up. All the exterior maintenance of the house or the property was always nice. Inside out, we always did stuff. He always had projects. But what I understand now that wasn't taught to me then, unfortunately, he passed before I was able to ask the questions, why? Which, asking somebody why growing up in the black household, you might get slapped in the mouth. But thank God my grandfather wasn't that kind of man. However, as an adult and also as a homeowner now, I understand that curb appeal is so very imperative and so very important to the equity of a community. If my house look good and all the other houses on the block look good, it adds value to the community. It increases the value and the likelihood of the curb appeal of their community. Now, if only my house look good and two houses down look good and the rest of these houses falling apart, that's a goddamn shame, because it lowers my potential of earning and gaining equity within that property. Now, if you don't know the term that they coined for communities where the homes are looking all jacked up like they do in a lot of hoods, they call those zombie homes, zombie homes and stuff like that. That's crazy. So in current times, when you look at what's going on as far as gentrification, right, you have to ask yourself, like, well, how are they going to come over here and give us, lowball us for this property when over across town they selling properties for XYZ amount? It's because you ain't kept up the curb appeal. It's a zombie community. It looked jacked up. You didn't do no upgrades to the property. The house look like it's falling apart. It look abandoned. It's mold, mildew, every damn thing else, weather, water damage. Ain't no fresh paint. The yard ain't cut. All that. The fence falling apart. So that's why it's so important that we protect our zip codes. Also, You know what, man? It made me think about something when I was preparing this, right? You know how we criticize Caucasian communities, right, for allowing their children to talk to them any kind of way. Fuck you, mama. Fuck you, daddy. I want that. I screw you. I'm leaving you. You're a bastard, you know. But you know, one thing I realize about those communities that they don't allow, that we allow in our communities, they don't allow their children to fuck up their communities. The children can talk all they want, but when they get out of hand and out of control, what they do? Oh, they send them somewhere to get some help. But when our children are fucking up our communities, we just let them do it. We get out the way and we say, I ain't gonna tell them nothing because I don't want them to be. So now let's be real. So when we talking to these the white man, whatever, and we trying to understand why the communities don't get no respect, how can you demand respect when we allow our children to destroy our communities? The children, not the homeowner, but our children. See, the other communities ain't going for that because they got an investment in this community as the homeowner. They're protecting the zip code. So that's why when the quote unquote gentrification thing happening, keep in mind now, it's been about 3 or 4 generations that these homes has been in our communities, and they zombie communities. It's only a few homes that look like, you know, they really care. It's equity in the community. So men and women, if Big Mama or Pawpaw left you a property, even if you don't go there no more, look at it as an investment opportunity for you and your future, wherever you may be. Because there's equity within that community. Because remember, the value of a community and the prosperity of that community is dependent on the citizens of that community. Nobody else. Pawpaw and Big Mama, they worked hard as hell with less freedom to purchase them homes and all that property. With no excuses. With no excuses. So when do you all know what, man, let me calm down, man. Listen, man. Because one thing, the reason I get worked up like this is because I get tired of hearing niggas complaining about what the white man did and what the white man doing, when we got the freedom to do whatever he doing. But that's a video for a whole nother day. But listen, stay focused now. We got to understand that it's up to us to gentrify our own shit. Because gentrification just mean by definition to beautify and upgrade your community to a middle class standard. So once we do that out the gate, we gain equity, baby. That's right. Equity. Because that's the name of the game. Equity, home ownership. Remember, home ownership is the first step to financial freedom. It can set you up to make other plays. It can put you in position to do other shit. Straight up. So don't take that lightly. Focus on the equity. Understand that owning a home ain't just to live in. It's an investment. Opportunity. Indeed. So, you know, man, this is something I'm gonna give you some, because I always got to give you some news you can use. That's just what I do. But do you understand that 2.3 billion is lost in equity annually in our communities like that, and other communities as well? Not just our communities, just communities where 2.3 billion. Now, if we spending billions as consumers, Just imagine if we had billions back in our pockets in equity to put into other areas to invest in to gain more capital. Because keep in mind, it's about strategizing. Don't get it twisted. Strategy. So we got to play the long game. Remember the 6 words: short-term goals and long-term goals. Don't ever forget those words. Fellas, women, protect your communities at all costs. Understand that telling the youth, sit your ass down with the bullshit in the neighborhood because certain crimes affect the value of the community. Certain types of crimes affect the value of the community. It just does. I didn't make this up myself. It is what it is. Flat out. Ain't nothing I can. Listen, man. You can try to debate and say whatever you want to say about this, but it is what it is. So my only advice to you all and my only plea to you all is protect your zip codes and understand that we have more than we need. It was given to us. It was shown to us by our ancestors, to Paul, and Big Mama. We know what to do. We just got to do it better. Because now we have more resources, we have more freedom, and we got more information. Because you know what the words say. My people perish because of lack of knowledge. And that's why I'm here after the break, baby. Because if you didn't know, after the break, we work. So till next time, respect and salute. Gone.